the first steps for preparing a concrete floor for metallic 3D epoxy is simple. We're going to clean out the cracks and crevices and the control joints using a diamond blade on our angle grinder. What I like to do is simply tape my hose to my vacuum using Gorilla Tape so it doesn't come loose, and then I like to join my cords. Everything stays tidy and it makes the project go a little bit smoother. Okay, I want to show you what we're going to clean out. This is a control joint and it's been filled with just some seam fill, and it's when you're doing a small floor, you don't need large floor equipment. We're going to use a hand grinder and a vacuum system to suck up the dust while we do. Now we're going to profile the entire floor with our diamond cup wheel by hand. It shouldn't take that long because it's a small space. After that, we'll clean up all the concrete dust and we'll be ready for the next step. We're going to use our floor patch to fill the saw cuts now. Just like many of our other formulas, our floor patch will expand and contract and move a little bit so that it won't crack and let go of that joint. Also, what I like about mixing this is when it's a uniform color, you know you've gotten your mix nice and thorough. Let's go ahead and over butter those joints right now, let them set up, and we'll be prepared for tomorrow. I like to leave the excess floor patch on my sacrificial board so that I can know when it's actually cured by touching this and not my control joints. What we're going to do now is take our 50 grit metal sanding disc and we'll feather out any high points and humps and bumps and get our floor nice and flat. This will prep us for our prime coat on our 3D metallic epoxy floor. Here, get rid of all the dust, do a final wipe down, and then we're ready for our prime coat. Let's go. It's always a good idea to check for excess moisture in your slab trying to escape. By putting the plastic down and letting 24 hours pass, we're going to see if there's excess moisture trapped between the plastic and our raw slab to ensure that we have an excellent bond between the epoxy and the concrete floor. That's dry as a bone. We're ready to proceed. We're going to always add metallic additive to our floor epoxy. On this prime coat, I'm going to add black. And then on the top coat, I'm going to add a combination of deep silver and white. I think this is going to give us a beautiful looking floor, very deep and three-dimensional. Keep in mind, I'm only mixing enough right now to do our edges. After that, I'll mix enough to do the rest of the field. Our floor epoxy is a 2-to-1 ratio. It's also a thinner viscosity, so it goes a long way on a floor. So keep that in mind. In this case, I'll do part A and then part B at a 2-to-1 ratio. Shake your metallics up before you unscrew the lid. This will break them up and make it disperse better into the epoxy. Doing a floor epoxy system is 2 coats. Your first coat is your prime coat. We're going to apply this at 300 square feet per gallon and flow. All right, we're going to mix up enough for the field now. Let's do it. Our floor epoxy is much easier to mix than our countertop epoxy because the viscosity is much thinner. Keep that in mind, but mix it thoroughly. You want to break up and disperse those metallics really well. Before tomorrow, when we do our flood coat, we're actually going to add our metallics into part A. Is measured correctly. This is why I love metallic additives. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, it's been just under 24 hours. Our floor is set up, but because it hasn't been 24 hours or longer, we don't need to sand between coats. You can always sand and wipe with acetone or denatured alcohol to be safe, but I know that it's going to have a good adhesion because it hasn't surpassed that 24-hour mark. Okay, everything is dispersed beautifully. It's time to add the part B to activate our part A, and then we have about 45 minutes of working time to get our materials spread on the floor. Don't leave them in the bucket. Get it out on the floor so that you have plenty of working time. That metallic pigment looks beautiful. I love just one color. That actually could be a floor in and of itself, but by 2 colors. Let's pour it out, squeegee it, back roll it together, and have a good time and see what we come up with. And I like putting my accent